groovy.
Greetings, my friends. This is your pal Brian from Awful Movie Reviews.
Now, who's drinking?
But this time, we're changing things up a bit, as I'm reviewing a cult classic horror film this week. Man, it's been a while. And I watched Silver Bullet last week, so why not cover this bad boy? A film based off a book by none other than Stephen King. Something which I still cannot wrap my head around is that his name is spelled Stefan, but for some stupid reason everyone insists on calling him Steven. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Silver Bullet is a rather discreet, low-key werewolf horror film which has both its strengths and weaknesses. It's by no means a perfect viewing experience, but for those who enjoy a little spookfest with some extra hair and claws, this may just be the thing for you. But before I duck and hide from the full moon, if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing this review, and subscribing to my channel, it would help me a lot. And if you value what I do and you want to help support me, please check out my Patreon in the description below.
Maybe that wasn't such a good idea telling that Smokey Bear from the detective division to fuck off, Joe.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture.
So Silver Bullet is set for some reason in 1976, where the folks of a small town are plagued by several very gruesome murders. At first, the people think that a homicidal maniac is on the loose.
And this guy's a psycho.
But it quickly turns out that the perpetrator of these heinous crimes may be a little less human than expected. Yes, my fellow movie lovers, we've got ourselves a clear case of, lycanthropy on our hands. Whew, I finally pronounced it correctly. And so it's up to Marty, a kid suffering from paraplegia, and his drunken uncle Boris Johnson, Gary Busey I meant, who looks a lot like Boris Johnson for some reason.
I made steak and oven chips, which were very good.
To find who's the werewolf here and put a silver bullet right through him. Now, Stephen King adaptations to the screen can be either hit or miss, and in the case of Silver Bullet, well, it's kind of in between. The flick has a surprisingly solid cast. Like I said, Gary Busey is great as the kid's uncle.
Because I have nothing to say about this matter except offer you some tea.
Everett McGill is also quite good as the Shady Reverend, and the late Corey Haim, who sadly passed away too soon, gives a memorable act as Marty as well, a kid in a motor-powered wheelchair. Yeah, for a paraplegic kid, he sure gets around.
Hey, it's Madman Marty and the Silver Bullet!
We don't get to know very much about them, but there were plenty of fun secondary characters as well, like the sheriff's assistant. Without being a straight-up horror comedy, the movie does have quite a few subtle funny moments, which brought a smile to my face and actually made me giggle. Like that one scene where Marty shoots a firecracker right in the werewolf's face. Yeah, take that, you hairy bastard. Marty's sister does the voiceover. She occasionally narrates the story as a grown-up woman now, looking back on her past, which is a cool idea if you ask me. That being said, the downside of Silver Bullet is that it wasn't very scary though. While gore isn't what's missing in this film to say the least, the movie's got plenty to offer, and there are some pretty brutal kills throughout the story, I didn't find myself on the edge of my seat or swimming in suspense or in fear or anything like that. The movie's real enemy, in my opinion, is the screenplay.
Listen, Marty, you have got to get this idea out of your head.
The first half is pretty good and compelled me to watch the rest, but as the runtime was passing by, I could feel the film was running out of steam, and it kinda went all over the place, and I just thought this could have been a much better movie if they had ramped up the scares and the suspense a little more. Of course though, I couldn't do this review without mentioning the werewolf itself. Maybe it's not as good as Rick Baker's work on American Werewolf in London, but really, the effects here are one of Silver Bullet's strong points. The transformation scenes are very well done, I'm impressed. They look convincing for the most part. I like how whenever the wolf attacks, he's not always seen in his full form, which helps to keep some mystery around him. Although sadly, they still do give it away too early, for my tastes, but anyway. So yeah, overall, Silver Bullet has some interesting ideas going, there's no doubt about that, but it has an issue executing them correctly, and it does make for what I felt was a pretty uneven movie. It's not reinventing the wheel in any way, but like I said, if you enjoy this sort of campy werewolf horror film, then I don't think you'll be disappointed by this. I'm gonna rate this film, between a 5.5 and a 6 out of 10. There you go. And on that note, relax and stay tuned, my friends.